Helsinki has enough underground space to fit 134% of its population, not 100%. 134. Most cities struggle to house everyone above ground. Helsinki built a second city below it with room to spare. 900,000 shelter spaces for a city of 670,000 people. That's 230,000 extra spaces. And in 2026, with Finland now part of NATO and an 832-mile border with Russia sealed tight, that extra capacity isn't theoretical anymore. It's strategic. You're about to find out why. About 2/3 of Helsinki sits on bedrock. Not just any bedrock. Granodiorite, 2 billion years old, some of the hardest rock on Earth. When Finnish engineers started carving into it in the 1960s, they realized they had an advantage most cities don't. The rock was close to the surface, hard enough to hold massive excavations without collapsing, and cold enough that underground temperatures stay stable year-round. So they started digging, not for storage, for people. By Finnish law, any building over 1,200 square meters has to include a bomb shelter. Not optional, mandatory. And instead of building standalone bunkers, Finland did something different. They integrated shelters into everyday buildings: swimming pools, ice hockey rinks, shopping centers, underground parking garages, all of them designed to convert into fully functional nuclear-proof shelters within 72 hours. The Itäkeskus swimming hall demonstrates how this works. Carved into bedrock dozens of meters underground, families swim in heated pools. Kids splash in the shallow end. Adults relax in saunas. Tropical-themed murals on the walls. Colorful flags hanging from the ceiling. Feels like a community rec center, which is exactly what it is, during normal times. But the facility was designed as a shelter first and a swimming pool second. The pools can be drained within a day. Air filtration systems swap out. 3,800 bunk beds appear. Blast doors seal. Ventilation converts to pressurized nuclear, biological, and chemical filtered air. 72 hours. That's the legal requirement. From public swimming pool to sealed bomb shelter in 3 days. And it's not just swimming pools. Formula Center is Helsinki's only go-kart track. 300 meters of purple and green lit tunnels carved into bedrock. Racers cross the course, living out Mario Kart fantasies underground. Built as a bunker in 1970. Converted to a go-kart track in 1995, can still shelter 2,500 people if needed. The company that runs it has 72 hours to clear out if the fire brigade pushes the button. This isn't unique to Helsinki. It's national policy. Finland has 50,500 civil defense shelters nationwide. Capacity for 4.8 million people out of a population of 5.6 million. That's 86% coverage across the entire country. Other countries with similar coverage, Switzerland, Sweden, Norway, and Israel. All of them share something in common, either a history of neutrality or what Finnish security analysts call a strategically difficult position. Finland's position got a lot more difficult in 2022. February 24th, Russia invaded Ukraine. Finland had maintained military neutrality since World War II. Suddenly, neutrality felt a lot less safe. Public support for NATO membership jumped from 30% to over 70% in weeks. Finland applied in May, joined officially on April 4th, 2023. That decision doubled NATO's land border with Russia, and it meant Finland's underground infrastructure, which had been built for civil defense, suddenly became part of Western defense planning. But the underground city serves another purpose nobody expected. Beneath the Uspensky Cathedral in Helsinki, 30 meters underground, sits a data center. 2 megatwatts of server capacity carved into a former World War II bomb shelter. Cold water from the Baltic Sea cools the computers. Instead of venting the waste heat into the atmosphere like most data centers do, Helsinki captures it. The warm water from cooling the servers gets pumped into the city's district heating network. Heats 500 homes, all while producing 2 megawatts of energy at an annual savings of $200,000 compared to an equivalent above-ground facility. And that's just one data center. Microsoft is building a massive data center campus near Helsinki in Espoo and Kirkkonummi. When fully operational, the waste heat from those servers will supply 40% of Espoo's entire heating demand. 100,000 homes, heated by computers processing cloud data underground. The project required an investment of 225 million euros from Fortum, the regional utility company. Heat pumps and pipeline connections integrate server waste heat into the existing district heating network. The heat replaces coal and natural gas. Fortum estimates it will cut the city's carbon emissions enough to hit neutrality targets by 2030. But what Finland buried beneath this city goes far deeper than anyone expected, and it started with a war most people have never heard of. Underneath Helsinki, there's more than just bunkers and data centers. 200 kilometers of tunnels, district heating, district cooling, electricity, water, telecommunications, all underground. To understand why Helsinki built all of this, you need to go back to one single morning. November 30th, 1939, 4 in the morning. Soviet bombers appeared over Helsinki. The Soviet Union invaded Finland in what became known as the Winter War. Outnumbered 3-1, Finland fought back, held out for 105 days before signing a peace treaty that ceded territory but preserved independence. The Finns learned two things from that war. Russia doesn't forget, and Finland can't rely on anyone else for defense. So they built a society based on total defense, mandatory military service for all men, voluntary for women, 900,000 military reservists, 280,000 soldiers who can be mobilized quickly, artillery forces larger than any in Western Europe, and underground shelter space for almost the entire population. During the Cold War, Finland maintained neutrality through what historians call the Paasikivi-Kekkonen doctrine. Good enough relations with the Soviet Union to avoid war, strong enough defense capabilities to make invasion costly. That worked until 2022. When Russia invaded Ukraine, Finland's security calculus changed. Neutrality no longer felt like protection, it felt like vulnerability. And then in 2022, everything Finland had built suddenly made sense again. NATO membership changed the equation. Finland now has Article 5 protection. An attack on Finland is an attack on all 32 NATO members. That's the ironclad security guarantee Finnish leaders wanted. But it also put Russia on edge. Moscow threatened to beef up military infrastructure along the Finnish border, build walls and barriers, and increase the reliability of border protection. Russian officials openly stated Finland's NATO membership forced changes in military approaches to the frontier, and that's where the underground infrastructure becomes critical. Because in a scenario where tensions escalate, Helsinki's ability to shelter its entire population within hours matters. The city isn't just protecting its residents. With 134% capacity, it can protect visitors, commuters, and refugees from surrounding areas. The extra space exists for a reason. Finland's defense minister calls it the concept of total defense. The entire society is trained and prepared. Infrastructure is designed for both peace and war. Public spaces serve daily life but convert to protection when needed, and distance isn't a problem. In Helsinki, if you need shelter, you're never more than a few hundred meters from one. The shelters are distributed throughout the city, integrated into apartment buildings, office complexes, shopping centers, and metro stations. The Marahaka shelter in central Helsinki has space for 6,000 people. It houses an underground playground, ball courts, and a gym. The shelter is constantly maintained because people use it daily. The same applies to Itäkeskus and to the Formula Center. Use keeps them functional. That's the genius of the dual-use concept. Shelters that sit empty deteriorate. Shelters that serve as swimming pools and sports facilities stay in perfect condition. If this is new to you, subscribe. There's more. Roughly 90% of Finland's population lives in urban areas. Helsinki is the densest, with limited surface space on a peninsula constrained by the sea. Bedrock close to the surface is ideal for tunneling. Helsinki treats underground space like surface space. The Underground Master Plan coordinates construction, prevents conflicts, and ensures space reserved for future metro lines doesn't get filled with data centers. Most cities dig on a first-come, first-served basis. Helsinki plans underground the same way it plans above ground. That only works because of the bedrock. Helsinki's granodiorite is ideal, hard, stable, and close to the surface. So Helsinki remains a city of two levels. The surface where most life happens, and the underground where protection and infrastructure wait. And in 2026, with NATO membership secured and tensions with Russia ongoing, that underground city isn't just impressive urban planning anymore. It's strategic depth. Helsinki built a second city underground while everyone else was building upward. The world is full of places like this. You just don't know about them yet. Subscribe. The next one drops soon.